Hello, my name's Molly. I've been a docent here at La Purisima Mission for over 20 years. And today we're talking about what people ate back in mission times, and we're looking at the influence the Spanish had. The first thing we want to talk about is what were the Chumash people eating before the Europeans ever came to California. And if you look, I've got a deer skin, a rabbit skin. They did hunt. The Chumash people would hunt. I have some seafood. They'd fish, they'd gather seeds, they'd gather nuts, and most especially the Chumash people would gather acorns. So the Chumash people, before the Europeans ever came, they're what we would call hunter-gatherers. They would hunt and gather for their food. Once the Europeans came, once the Spanish missionaries came, and the Chumash started living at the mission, this is what they would eat. They'd eat something like this. For breakfast, I have a cornmeal mush called a tole and maybe some hot chocolate. A lot of people think, well, what's mush? But the thing is, you eat mush all the time. It would have been kind of like oatmeal. The biggest meal of the day is the midday meal. I have a stew called pozole and some corn tortillas. And in the evening, they might have a little bit more of the pozole or a little bit more of the cornmeal mush. We do know that the Chumash women would get permission to go up in the hills and gather some of the traditional foods that they would mix with the mission foods. So the Chumash people, they switched, when they came to live at the mission, they switched from eating acorn mush to corn mush. And the reason for that is that the priests, the Spanish missionaries, wanted the Chumash people to always be near the church. The Chumash people used to spend part of the year on the beach eating fish, part of the year in the mountains hunting and gathering acorns. And so by teaching the Chumash people how to eat the corn here, how to grow the corn here, they could always be near the church. So that's why they switched from acorn mush to corn mush. Over here, we're going to look at this table. It represents the daily diet of the Spanish missionaries. They were educated men from Europe, and they were homesick for some of the food from Spain. So they taught the Chumash cooks how to prepare some of the food that they were missing. For breakfast, I made pumpkin empanadas and hot chocolate. Hot chocolate is a big deal during the mission times. We have their original grocery lists. They're always sending letters to Mexico saying, send more chocolate. The most technical job at this mission is the blacksmith, and it's written in his contract how many pounds of chocolate the mission will provide his family. But the chocolate probably would have tasted different than our chocolate because they just didn't have as much sugar. So it could have been very bitter, more like coffee. All right, let's look at that big midday meal. Unfortunately, we've been out here giving tours all morning. Things are a little dried up, but we do have some beef and beans for that midday meal. They had 10,000 head of cattle. They ate beef, and beef. They did grow grapes, and they did make wine. The evening meal is just a little bit of soup and bread. All right. When the Spanish missionaries decided to come here, they knew they wanted to build a community. They knew they'd have to feed that community. At its peak, this mission had almost 1,500 people. That's a lot of people to feed. So they brought with them farm animals, and they brought with them seeds for crops. At its peak, this mission had 10,000 head of cattle, 10,000 head of sheep. They had 1,300 horses. They had pigs. They had goats. This was a big, busy, successful ranch, in addition to being a church. But it was also a farm. They brought seeds for crops. The Spanish brought seeds for a lot of crops that never had grown in California before. They brought seeds for several kinds of beans. They brought the seeds for peas, lentils. They brought the seeds for barley. They brought the seeds for wheat. They brought the seeds for corn. Corn was common in Mexico, but it was not commonly grown in California, but the Spanish brought the seeds. And I want you to look at this bowl. All these fruits never grew in North America, never grew in California till the Spanish brought the seeds. The orange, lemons, limes, pears. Well, they brought these seeds most of them from Spain, and it worked great because we had the same climate that the Spanish had. And so all of the crops grew very well in California that they had brought over. So this mission was a church, it was a ranch, it was a farm. But I want you to think about that. Let's go back over here. What the Chumash people eat changes when the Europeans come, and the way the Chumash people live changes after the Europeans come. They used to be hunter-gatherers, and after the Europeans come, they become ranchers and farmers. And it's one of the big ideas, so I'm going to say it one more time. The Chumash people used to be hunter-gatherers, and after the Europeans came, they become farmers and ranchers. So it's a big change. Not only did the lifestyle of the Chumash change, the land changed. You had, think about it, 10,000 head of cattle pounding the soil. All of a sudden, that soil becomes kind of hard clay, and some of the plants that traditionally would have grown no longer grow in such profusion. So once the Spanish come, they change the lives of the native people, they changed the land. The way they irrigated the land changed it. So the Spanish had a huge impact on California, and we're still feeling that impact today. I hope you found it interesting seeing what people ate, and I hope you gave you something to think about. Have a great day.